Hi, in this tutorial I'll show you how to work with radio buttons, border pane, title pane, image view that you can populate programmatically. So let's do a little design first, what we're going to build. So what we're going to build is a little application like this. We will have some radio buttons over here. We will use title panes here, two of them. We'll have a little button on the bottom here, little label over here to display the selection. So color item, and in the middle here we'll have a image somewhere here, somewhere like this maybe. All right, so we're going to use a border pane right here overall, and then two title panes with radio buttons. This one will represent maybe different colors, and another one representing the different items. The user can select the color, let's say green, yellow, or red, and he can select either fruit or vegetable. I have some images that I prepared that based on the user selection, the image will be shown, corresponding image will be shown to the user. So display image maybe, image. Excuse me. All right, so something like that. Let me go to my workspace over here, right click in Package Explorer, New, and I want to create javafx project. So actually it's already over here, javafx, otherwise you can search for it. Next, so this one I prepared the name, it's a very long name, but that's what I want to describe all the functionality that it's displaying. So radio buttons, border pane, title pane, image view, populated programmatically. Now let me see. Let me add fxml file, new, other fxml document, and the name, mainly I want to show radio buttons, so that's the only thing I'll put in the fxml file. Okay, and let me open it in Scene Builder. Alright, so what I want to do here, I want to use border pane, add it to the anchor pane, and you can see the border pane has several sections. One is the top section, then left section, center, right section, and the bottom section. So I'm going to add, first I will want to add the title panes here on the side, and I want them to be layered or added vertically, displayed vertically. So first I will add VBox to the this left side, left section of the border pane. Let me go here. All right, let me find the VBox. Missed it somehow. Miscellaneous separators. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I want to add it to the left, so I can drag and drop it here or just go here. You can see that the different sections are highlighted when I move around. So I'll put it to the left side. And now in my VBox, I want to add a couple of title panes. Right here, title pane 1. I think it's in the right place. And another one. Okay. So this view is a little bit too small. Try to. Oops, I'm grabbing the whole thing. All right. That's my anchor pane. It's like the border pane, and that one I want to fit the same, to be the same size. And now, oh, looks like I moved things around. The VBox is in the center. Well, I want to move the VBox to the left side, so I'll move it like that. And then I want to make it smaller, so something like that. Let me check the size of it. Go to properties, layout. So preferred size is 116, preferred width. So that's what I'm going to use for my title panes as well. So I'll say use preferred width, and here I'll just paste that number and select the other one. Do the same here. All right, so now these are done like this. Next thing I want to do is to add a button. So I will create all the layout elements first. Here's the button. So I'll add it on the bottom here. Uh, 116, that's correct. So I'll use it for minimum and for maximum. Same thing for here. Sorry, here 116. Maximum width, I also want to use preferred size. Okay, now one thing I'm missing is a label. Let me add the label. So for the label, I want to add it to the top piece right here, like so. And what I actually want to do, I want to align it center right, and then I want to drag it like so. And I want to align the text in the center like this. Initially I don't want any value, but I do want to let me find the properties. Center left, I want it center, I said, and that's it. So I guess I'm missing another piece, is the image view. So image view I want to put in the center right here, like so, and I think that's all I need for here. Let me change the titles here. So this will be my color, select color, and this will be select item. The button will say display image. Okay, and save. I don't have a controller yet, but after saving, go back to your project. In the main class, I want to modify this. First, I will remove this 400 by 400. That's not the size I want. I don't want border pane, even though that's what I'm using right now, but I don't want it to be specified in the code. I want to read the type of layout I used. I want to be read from the fxml file. So here I'll say parent root equals, and I need to import parent, import, and I need to change this line of code to read from my fxml file. So I need the loader. I will go to my code that I have. Just grab this line over here for the fxml, the piece of code for fxml loader. And now I have to make sure that the name is exactly the same. It actually is exactly the same, radio buttons. Okay, save the file. Oh, I forgot one import. Save the file and let's run it to see the initial view. Alright, so this is the initial view, but my changes are not reflected. Let me open this file, and now it's loaded. Let me run it again. Okay, now I can see my view. So the label doesn't have any text. The image you cannot see yet. I forgot to add radio buttons. This is interesting feature of the titled panes, that you can actually collapse them. Alright, let me go back and add radio buttons first to my view. Scene builder and the radio buttons. Okay, so radio buttons. For color, I will have 3 options. Align it somehow here. Radio button 1, radio button 2, radio button 3. I'll provide some text. So this will be green color. This will be red color. And this will be yellow color. I will also create radio buttons for item that user is selecting, and it's going to be either fruit or vegetable. All right. I also need to add toggle group to make these buttons mutually exclusive. Like if you select one, then you cannot select another one. If you select another one, the previous one should be unselected. I don't have any toggle groups yet, so this one will be my color toggle group. This one is going to be the same, and this one is going to be the same toggle group. And this will be a different group. This toggle group I'll call item toggle group. Item. Okay, now I can save the file. Go back, just open it for a moment to refresh. and then run the application. I should see my radio buttons. So the radio buttons are working and visible. So now I need to write some code to actually have some functionality with all of this. So close this, create a controller, new class. Let's say radio buttons controller and finish. All right, I have some code already prepared for the radio buttons controller. So I will grab all of these things. This is declaration of all of my elements that I have. So I have 2 toggle groups. I have radio buttons, 2 radio buttons for fruit, and 3 radio buttons for color, and I have 1 label. I also have 1 image view, which I'll move a little bit up here. And I also have some things called color and item. So for item, I actually need to create enum, new enum. So this will be called item. And the values inside are going to be vegetable and fruit. That's it. And save. Let me go back. So item now doesn't have an error, but the other things have errors. So I want to import all of them. For color, I want javafx, image view, javafx, fxml annotation, javafx, toggle group, javafx, radio buttons, javafx, and label, javafx library. Okay, so now that I have declared everything, I also need one method for the click button, which I also have prepared right here. So I'll just grab this. So I need to import this. Import javafx. But before I do any of this coding, let me remove it and just print sys out, just to make sure that everything is working. I did this work earlier. Button click works. So it's kind of already tested code. I feel confident, but still, for you to learn how to program better, I will go through the steps that I would initially do. I wouldn't write all the code at once and only then check if it's working, because it would be too much code to test, and if you have multiple bugs, it will be very hard to find where exactly things are breaking. So it's better work incrementally. Make a piece of code working, then move to the next item, then move to the next item. So right now I want to add this fxml names as fxml ID to my controls, and also add this method call from the radio button, from the button event. Actually, I already have it open in Scene Builder. So number 1, I need to find my controller and add it to the fxml document. Controller. So for me, the controller is over here on the right side. I select controller class. I noticed that some students have different scene builder, and their controller would be here on the bottom. Like you see here on the right side, sorry, on the left side, there is library, hierarchy, and then on the bottom you will see also something called controller. So that's where you need to go to find the controller class. Now that I have the controller class, I want to add things here. I want to add fxml IDs. So this is the green button, green radio button. This is the red radio button and the yellow radio button. This radio button stands for fruit. This one is for vegetable. The image view, it's image view. And the label that I have on the top, the ID is just label. So if I select the button, I don't need fx ID really, but I do need on action event, which is display image. So save the file, go back, refresh it here by opening the fxml file, and run the code. So these things are still working, this is still working, and I want to see if click button works. So click button works, I can see it right here. Now I want to see if when I click I can read the values from radio buttons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first I need to initialize the radio buttons with some values, and again right now I'm not implementing initializable, so I need to do that. Implement initializable. Okay, and I need to add unimplemented methods, which gives me this piece of code right here. And inside I need to put something to initialize the values. So I have the item enum, vegetable and fruit, which I'm going to use to initialize values for radio buttons, vegetable and fruit. The other radio buttons I will initialize by using Java library code, class called color. So let me go here and I will grab this code and place it in here. So what I'm doing for the radio buttons, I'm setting user data. Okay, so when user selects this radio button, this is the data that he will select as well. Now that I have things initialized, let me add here reading the values. So reading of the values, before I can read them, I need to read the user's selection. Somehow when user selects a button, I need to reset the values in my toggle group. So I need some other code as well. Let me grab it right here. So with this lines of code, import javafx. Okay, so when user selects a color radio button, I will read the selected toggle and user data from this toggle group, the color toggle group. And the same thing with the other toggle group, item toggle group. When user selects one of the buttons, I will read the value from the toggle group based on which one he selected exactly. I also have these two items declared on top. One stands for color, image color, and item. So this is the values where I will be storing the information. So now after user clicks on the button, I'll store the information, and then later here after click event on the button, I will print out the values that user selected. Sys out, and like I said, the values will be already stored in this image color. The other one is called item. And save. Run it again. I already noticed that I did something else wrong. So right now you can see the image color is null, the item is null, is because even though I created this code, I'm not referring to this code in my fxml file. So let me open fxml file, and for each radio button on action I will call the action. So this is color. I'll call color radio button selected. So this will reset the value of the color in our code. And when the fruit is selected, I'll call item radio button selected and save the code. Come back, open fxml file to refresh, and then run the code. So now when I click, I can see the color and I see fruit is selected. If I change the values, I can see now it's vegetable selected. If I change the color, now you see the value is slightly different. Alright, now that I know my code is working so far, now I can modify it to actually display the images. To display the images, number one, I need to put some images here. So I will create another folder, another package, images, under application. So it's going to be application images. And inside here, I have prepared the images already. I'll just copy them. And paste them in here. Let's take a look. Okay, all my images are here. They're all PNG. And now I'm ready to grab the code for the button. So this code where I want to display the image, I need to modify this code. I'll keep these lines of code for now here for debugging purposes. And if I go back, now I'm actually ready to take this code. So for this code, what I am doing here, the image color that gives me the color that user selected, I compare against color green. So if it equals, that means user selected green color. And I will do the same for item. For item, whatever item user selected, I will compare it against the vegetable item. And sometimes I compare it against fruit item. So if I compare it against fruit item, then I will be displaying certain text in the label, green fruit. And also I will pick the right image. So I have to change my path a little bit because I put it under images folder. Images. The last line of code is just in case if I miss some image, then it will just display the default image. Okay, I think I'm good to go now. Save and run the code again. Green fruit, display image, and I'm getting the images. Yellow fruit, red fruit, and so on. So looks like all the code is working. So this is example for you to work with titled panes. radio buttons, and I think what else was new? The border pane, and selecting image to display programmatically. So this is the line that you need to display it programmatically.